How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to a video here at Scrub Games, and today we're back with another profile, and this time going over the Yellow Freezer, the star deck for yellow. So I thought it'd be best to go for the yellow decks because that's the color I'm mainly maining, and it looks more interesting, it's more fun for me because there's a lot more intricate combos of things in yellow compared to the other colors. And we did Ginu first because it's my favorite character, but I feel that Frieza is going to be the stronger of the yellow decks if you've seen my tier list ones. And it's quite an interesting one. It's like a lot more interesting effects, and plus it has some really nice text to go in the deck as well. So we'll just go ahead and get onto that. And also we're using the Deck Planet as well, to being the best and only deck builder really for any Dragon Ball Super card game. Really easy to use interface, user friendly, and some great little options, text and little widgets and things you can have on it. So before we get into the video, feel free to like the video if you enjoy the content, comment down below if there's any questions you have or things you want to see on the channel, and we're on our way from 900 subs to 1,000 subs, and that's our main goal, and you can help us get there by dropping a sub. Keeps you updated with our videos as and when they drop, and if you also click the notification bell, you can get alerts when videos do drop, so that way you're aware to watch them there and then, or at a later time. So if you want to help the channel, that'd be much appreciated, but for now, let's get to the video and go over our Yellow Freezer deck profile. So, as I said before, when I did the Ginu, if you watched that one, we're going to try and go with doing a deck profile over all the different leaders, try and get like a base leader, base list for anybody to use, if anybody watch the channel and things like that. So that way you've got a base way to start playing the game and can understand it a little bit more, a bit of information to help you play the game as best as possible. And for Frieza, if you go to one of the nice little things the Deck Planet offers, which allowing you to, in this kind of mode, get the enlarged cards so you can see the effects and stuff on them and see both sides. We have the Frieza leader, so like most of the leaders, like all but one leader, it goes 15k on the front side, 20k on the Awakened side, and this leader is Frieza, being like the base form on the front, Awakens like the full final form on the back, and has the traits of Frieza Clan, Frieza Army, because Frieza is Frieza Clan, and is part of its own army. The only one thing that they find is that Calder is not a part of Calder's army squadron, but Frieza is a part of his own army. Odd thing, but it's a weird thing I've noticed. And you've got the same effect on both sides, being when attacking, draw a card, so both sides of the leader allow you to attack with it and draw a card. And then the Awaken is like most of the cards, like 10 out of the 12 leaders are the same Awakening, which is when you life 4 or less, you draw one card, flips over, meaning that when you get halfway through your life, you can power up essentially by drawing a card, flipping over to a stronger side, and have a stronger effect. And that stronger effect is, as we've seen, the leader has the same when attacking on both sides, but now when you awaken, it gains the additional effect of end of your turn, choose up to 2 of your battle cards switch in active mode. And that is a really good effect, that is a very strong effect. See, if you think about it, you've got 3 different things to use. If you've got a blocker, you can swing with it, then restand it in a turn so you can block with it to defend yourself. You can restand the cards to then combo off of them, or you can restand them so that way they can't be attacked into, because remember with this is just like Masters, where you can't attack into battle cards unless they're in rest mode. So unless they're rested, you can't attack into them, so if they stay in active mode, you can't swing into them, you'd have to use effects to get rid of them. So that makes some really nice things, just make use of cards that in yellow rest themselves to do effects, or that have attacked, then restand them so they're protected and can be then either comboed off or safe for the next turn. So that's basically a leader. Like most of the leaders in this game for the star decks and first set are quite basic, quite makes sense because it'll appeal to new players to like let anybody get into the game, whereas Masters is quite complicated now, and just make it so it's a great entry port and simplistic as possible. So going into the list, so that's the leader. So you can see that you want to get some benefits out of restanding cards, and that's one of the best things of the leader because it means you can swing with things that are 10k combo and have them to combo with if need be at the very least. On defense as well. So start off with some of our small cards. First of all, we've got Ginu, just like we had in the Ginu deck profile. We have Ginu here because, like we've said, every color has a cantrip. Basically, a 1-drop that when it's played, draws your card, and they can be comboed off offensively or defensively when you want. It just comes down, just draws your card, helps you fin through. It's really handy. Yellow does have that, but it's a one-time use. You just play it once, you draw a card. Whereas Ginu, it can draw you multiple cards from that one card that over turn and just gain you a lot more advantage than any other colour. So it's got one benefit yellow has, it's having a cantrip-like effect in Ginu, which just replaces so just keeps getting new cards, but more usable, especially when you get to your Awakened side lead. You can play out 2, rest them both to draw a card each, and enter and restand them, and if they survive, you just do it again next turn, just gain more advantage than most ever cards decks will do through just these small little cards. So I've got 4 copies of these because you want to see it, and it's got a nice little combination with another card like Banan, which we'll see in a bit, but also you got another 1-drop in Sarmon that also gains you advantage. Now this is a searcher, because it's a 1-drop, 5k combo, 5k power, and on play you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 card that includes Frieza and his card name from among them, add it to your hand, and place the rest of them at the bottom of your deck in a random order. So this is really nice, and this is a lot better a searcher than most of them. Like most colours have a searcher, like you got red as the extra card that's for U7, like any U7, so that's like a better one, but it's an extra card, meaning that it's not very good. Like what, it's a battle trick as well, but it's only offensively, not defensively, so it's got a kind of downside to it, and it doesn't really establish a body that you can touch your attack with as well. You got ones in blue that are like, yeah, like the Goasu. Let's look at top 5 for a Final Zumasu with Goku Black. That's just 2 targets, and if you whiff of that, like it's kind of like less targets, maybe the same amount of targets, but not as great. You got the Android 20 that only searches for Android 17 and 18, not just Android, so that's still decent but not as great. But this would just search for any card that includes Frieza's name, actually, so it can search for Mecha Freezer, Golden Freezer, just Frieza, and the targets for this card are a lot stronger than the targets for the Ever searches as well, outside of the red one. So we've got 4 copies of this because we've got some really good Friezas we want to see, and some of them are your higher end boss cards you're going to want to be dropping in the later turns. And at the very least, it comes down, finds you that Frieza, they can be comboed off defensively or offensively, which is nice. So those are 1-drops there. Then we got 3 copies of Banan, so we only got 3 instead of 4, because the leader basically does what this effect does. You normally want this for the early turns before you awaken to help with the Ginu, or you can have it in the later turns to then restand more cards. That way, if you got this plus Frieza, that's 3 cards you're attacking with and then restanding to use again to keep safe, or then use the combo off. So we only got 3 copies of it because we'd nice to see one early for Ginu, but we want to see multiple copies, and at the very least a 10k or a card to charge. Because its effect is basically end of your turn, just like Frieza, choose it to when you rest with battle cards with Frieza army and special traits, switch to active mode. So this restands only Frieza armies, whereas leader restands any 2, and I think the majority of the deck is Frieza army, so it shouldn't make much of a difference. But yeah, normally if you want to see multiple like as early as possible, you run 4. If you still want to see 1 but not see multiple early as possible, see 1 as early as possible. 3 is a good number to have that. Then we got 3 copies of Apple. So it does the same kind of thing as Ginu, but instead of just drawing a card, this only adds to, basically its effect is activate main, switches card to rest mode, so similar copies to Ginu. You look at the top card of your deck, then reveal to 1 card with Frieza army and its special traits, and add to your hand. Then place it in the remaining card spot on top of your deck. But with this deck, I don't think there's a single non-Frieza army card in the deck, so you're not going to whiff off this. But this one can survive a little bit better than Ginu because it's 15k instead of 5k, which just means if it's going to be negged, it needs to be negged less. And it's got 10k combo instead of 5k, means it needs to be used a little bit easier to combo for more power later on in the game. So restanding this gives you more combo power, still gets you the same card as Ginu, but Ginu can come down earlier and cheaper, whereas Apple it's got a bit more power, a bit more combo power as well, and it only hits Ginu Frieza army blocking you bullets, so you're not really going to whiff off this. So 3 of these because you want to see 1, but if you don't see Ginu, you've got Apple, which is quite nice as well. Then we go into some of the Frieza cards. So we got the first one being a 1-drop Frieza from the start deck, 10k power, 10k combo, and its effect is on play. Choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards, switch to rest mode. So this is really handy for if your opponent's got some annoying things in active mode that you want to attack into, you want to get rid of, because there's not much removal in yellow. You want to switch in rest mode so you can attack into them. And this can help as well if early in the game you don't want to be swinging at your opponent to give them cards, you help them awaken, and you want to get recycle on their board, just clear things off the board. You can play Frieza, switch to thing the rest mode and swing into your lead, so you can still gain the advantage of drawing a card from your lead, but not giving them a life to gain a card as well. And at the very least, 10k combos, so it's very handy, so we got 4 copies of that, and also we search for Zolbon. Then we have our Everest Freezer from the starter deck, another one. This is our 2-cost Freezer, 20k power. It's a little bit less on combo power, being 5k. That's because it's got good cost power ratio and a good effect. And that effect is when attacking, add up to 1 card from your life to your hand, so it's a way to awaken as well. Then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 3 or less, switch to rest mode, so you can rest down things you want to attack into, or also pressuring everything, which is quite nice, and just adds to awakening. So we've got 4 copies of these, because it can be Search or Zarbomb, and it's a really handy way to help you awaken. And remember, at the end of the turn, with the lead, you can restand it so they can't be attacked into, so you can always have like resting opponents' little guys, so they can't use them for combo, to defend themselves from Everest Freezer leader battle cards, and also 20k at least pressures awaken leads. Next Freezer we got is the 4-drop SR. So this is the one of the big SR, the more generic SR, because there's like one SR for each leader. So we got the Ginu for we got the Ginu SR for Ginu mainly, and then the Cooler for Cooler mainly, but they could also still be used generically for the each of decks. And then we got Frieza's the more generic of the yellow SRs. And it's a pretty big one, 4 cost, 40k power. That's very good power to cost ratio. And normally on a 4 cost, you're going to be getting from a skillless 30k instead of 40k, so it's way beyond there. 5k combo, so even though it's a big boss, it's still got some combo power, which is really nice. But its downside lies in its permanent, which is when this card can't be switched to active mode during your charge phase. But would you believe it? The leader kind of mitigates that. So if you get one of these on board and swing with it, you can normally during the charge phase you won't be able to restand it, so that'd be quite sad. But at the end of the turn, Frieza can just restand it, so that way when it comes to your next charge phase, it's already restood from your lead, so it doesn't need to worry about that, and it can attack again. So this leader does a really good job at mitigating that Frieza's downside by just switching it back to active mode at the end of the turn. And with Banan on the board as well, you can switch it back plus everything, so you can get free switches having 2. If you have, like, say you want 2 Ginus to keep eating your jewels per turn, and you got Frieza and a Banan on board, you can use leader to restand the 2 Ginus and Banan stand the Frieza, so you can keep getting as much advantage as possible. Like if you can build up a wide board, you can just gain so much advantage, which is really nice. So we have 4 copies of these because it's a very cheap big boss card that you can keep putting in pressure, and by switching that, like attacking even if it's in rest, your opponent's going to have a hard time doing it. But it'd be in active mode, meaning they can't even try to attack into it, and if they use effects to remove it, instead it's just going to keep hitting for 40k, which is on a 20k lead, a super combo plus something else. So that's at least 2 combos, at least one of them 4 super combos, just to get out of it. And then we've got the next one being another SR, this one from the starter deck again, so 3 to Freezer from the starter deck being chucked into this. And that is 3 copies of Golden Freezer. This is one of the nice big boss cards, come with some nice effects like locking down things, because it's a 5 cost, 35k. So not as strong as 4 cost, and a bit dirtier than the 4 cost. No combo power, but it's got really nice effects. It's got double strike, which is very limited in the game currently. There's only 4 cards that have double strike, being all boss card, like SR boss cards with non-combo power for each of the colours. And also it's got a lovely effect where when attacking, you choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards, rest of the battle cards, and it can't switch to active mode during your opponent's next turn. Meaning that no point in your opponent's next turn, from then when it uses to the end of your opponent's next turn, they can't switch to active mode with any effect. It's just completely locked down. So if you put 1 down, swing with this and that, and at 35k, it's going to be hard to run over, and even then with lead you can restand it so they can't attack over and have to be removing it, which there are some effects in 5k, but they're very limited to more big boss cards, or like more costly cards. And if you get one of those out and get another one out, you can keep applying a lot of pressure for the opponent to keep comboing out, because while you can use a super combo to combo out, if you just combo off a simple 5k, that's a super combo plus another card, and they're going to be comboing out of a double strike, and it makes it easier to kill people when they've got 2 life rather than 1 life, so you give them more cards to defend themselves. We got 3 copies because it's such a good card, and it's such a boss by Zarbon. You want to find that to finish out games and help lock things down so they can't clap you back as much. And then we've got a super combo, so Cheat Light, better super combo because unlike Nail, it works with Apple, being able to see that and add it back to hand, or add it to hand from the top of your deck, and it's just yeah, very good combo. Every deck should have 4 super combos because they're great to help defend a little bit easier on defense, and yeah, there's no more to say really. They just help you defend a lot easier at big swings, and that can make the difference rather than using multiple cards in hand. Using 1 card can make all the difference. Then we go into some of our Ginu package. So we've got 4 copies of Raccoon, because it's got a great effect just for free energy. On play, add to 1 card from your left to your hand, then play 1 battle card 2 or cost or less with Ginu forces special traits, and to go with that, we have the 2 cost Ginu, because as you can see, all the cards here so far we've shown are Frieza Army. So as long as you got at least one ever card, you drop the Raccoon, play out the Ginu, you get to untap. You get to essentially play 5 costs of energy, 5 cost of energy and battle cards to the board for just free energy. And with this Ginu, well, for one energy technically, because Ginu's untap. And Ginu these two allow you to spam out 2 battle cards for 1, or just Ginu that'll play itself and basically play itself for free by paying 2 for it and untapping that too, because you're always going to be able to fulfill its effect in this deck. And just allow you to apply a lot more pressure as quickly as possible to help diminish your opponent's resources while you just gain a lot. Like, it's all about the resource grind, which Frieza can do very well, and this is a nice added pressure. And then to add to that, we also got 3 copies of Gordo, just because as I said, there's not much removal in terms of removing things off board in yellow. Like, you're limited to 1 extra card that pops 3 or less, so that's the extent of your removal. So instead of that, you've got attack into things or lock things down. And Gordo's a very handy thing in Raccoon, allowing him to play itself out, take a life you want to and play out Gordo. Gordo will lock things down. Raccoon attack, end of turn, you can at least restand those 2. So Gordo is safe to keep 1 card locked down, and Raccoon is safe to attack for another turn. So you've got 3 copies of that, and at the very least it's 10k combo as well, which is very nice. And then we've got also 2 copies of Ginu here, the 3-cost Ginu, because it's got a nice little effect to grab back any Ginu extra with Ginu Force and the special traits, and there's at least 4. Like, all the Ginu Force extra cards are very good. So having 2 copies of this to help carry it back, and there's a very good one that's going to help with our 4.3s as well, to help get some more pressure for cheap, because smashing with big things over and over again multiple times in a turn is just very nice. So we've got 2 copies of this because we don't want it all the time, we don't want it necessarily quickly, but you might want a C1 to grab back an extra after you used it, and given the play you can get some good plays off this combos, and it's a 10k combo at the very least. Then the last 2 cards, that's all the battle cards, so as you can see they're all Frieza Army, meaning that Apple can hit everything in here, even the extra cards we're going to see, and you got a lot of decent combo, a lot of pressure, and some nice little combos going here. Then next we got 2 extra cards. We've got 2 copies of Crushable and 2 copies of Body Change. So these are both extra cards you can grab back with this Ginu, and they both net you some really good effects, because we only got 2 of each because you don't want to see multiple of them early. You just want to see them eventually or at some point and not have be clogged in hand with them. And they both do better effects because they're both 1-drops. Crushable allows you is the same as this Freezer here, but rather than having a body that's a 10k combo, it draws you a card so it replaces in hand. We're also doing the same thing if resting thing puts it in the rest, so you can attack into it or lock it down. And then Body Change has a nice interaction with Frieza, because it's an activate main / battle. You need to choose one of your active mode battle cards, which is rest mode. Which if you've got any of these 1-drops on down, or these small battle cards that can't pressure Awaken Leader, switch one of those to rest mode. You don't really care about that, because you want to trigger the effect to then choose up to one of your battle cards with a cost of 4 or less. Switch to active mode. So think about this 4-drop Freezer, you have this on board, you swing with it, that's 40k. Your opponent's either using a super combo and a 5k to out combo it, or they're taking a hit. And later in the game, they're going to start either using up the super combos, which is then used up on this, which at least then is not just a super combo outing it, it's a super combo plus another card, so at least losing 2 cards rather than 1. And they're going to be losing advantage in hand. And then you just go ahead and go, I'm going to switch this Zarbon I have on board to rest mode to restand this Freezer to get us never swinging again, to then put an error 40k, making them either lose more cards or take the hit, and end turn you get to restand both these 2 cards back, so you've not lost anything. Use Zarbon then to combo on defense, and Freezer then to be able to attack next turn. Because Body Change can mean that rather than having 2 of these Freezers on board, you can then still get more attacks at this Freezer, like you're having multiple on board by using Body Change, and use Ginu to grab it back. So you can use a turn where, say you had Freeze on for the turn before, swing with it, Body Change, so restand it, play Ginu, Body Change, grab out Body Change again, swing that Freezer. Nice little combos with this, and it just feels really good just not have to worry about dropping huge big things or playing more battle cards to the board, using some extras to get those big battle cards like those Freezers, swinging multiple times without using the need to play more, so you have them for combo. And that is the deck list. That is the list, keeping the 50 cards, keep as consistent as possible. And with the fact we have Ginu and Apple to keep drawing every turn along they stay around to get you more cards, you're basically being able to see everything you want to see in here as well. And remember, with the ratios, 4 allows you to see any card you want early and multiple copies of them. 3 allows you to see the card early but not multiple copies. 2 means you'll see it likely in a later game or when you need it. And then 1 copy is only when you want to attack for if you feel it could be useful. Might not be useful, if you don't see it you don't care. and it's not often you're going to be 1-in-1 copies. 2, maybe, if you want them for a later game, like we see with the Body Change, Crushable, and Ginu. Cards like those you don't want to see until like later game, or even Crushable you don't mind if you don't see it early, but you've got better ways to see it, like with the Freezer. And yes, some useful text. You've got the nice little searches and draw power up here, and resting stuff. You've got the Freezer cards that Zarvon can search with great effects, Chile Super Combo, the little Ginu package, and the extra cards to get some good benefits as well. This is one nice thing I find, is like this Ginu package you've got here, maybe changing Crushable for different extra cards, allow you to have an or even Body Change, allow a nice little core like Ginu package for any yellow deck, which applies some pressure and some nice little consistency. So that's it for the video. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you feel of the Freezer deck. If there's anything you don't understand, you want me to go over, or anything you would feel to change, let me know. It can help out greatly and help us all out as a community. So that is it for today. Thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next one, which next profile will likely be cooler. So bye for now.